Here's picks and bans for game number 2, Anarchy versus Genera. There's a Vayne ban. I only hope that this means there's no room for a Bard ban.
That's right. Well, they don't have to ban Callista this time, so...
Yep. Oh, good point. I wish you wouldn't have made that good point.
Oh, no.
Oh,
we're never going to get to see it. By the time they let Sweet play Bard, it's going to be nerfed.
Yep, pretty much. So we'll never get to see Sweet play Bard. Thanks, Obama.
Will be one of the great mysteries of the universe.
Yep. It's like Schrodinger's Bard, you know. If no one sees him play it, is he the best Bard ever or the worst Bard ever?
Well, he's both at the same time, obviously.
That's true.
So Callisto's led through. Now, last week, KT dealt with this by picking Urgot and Braum in the bottom lane. So basically, Callisto was locked down for a lot of that game, and here we go.
Styling begins. What do you think about Evelynn right now?
I agree with, I think Evelyn's okay, especially against teams that may not have the highest level of coordination, like Anarchy. You could play with Vision. It forces teams to play a different way. In my mind, Evelynn is pretty much always viable because of how much she changes the way the game is played from the enemy team.
It's true.
That invisibility by itself creates a massive disturbance in the game. And will they go for the Rek'Sai here? Has been one of Chaser's go-to picks and would allow him to put down some early pressure.
Well, I think against the Kalista, you just go tanky either way. And a Cho'Gath for GBM in the mid lane would certainly apply, but yeah, the Sejuani a strong pickup as well. Does leave Gragas open for Lyra, and he has no, it's banned.
Yeah, I agree with banning Gragas because Lyra was impressive in terms of his Gragas mechanics, but he chose just to farm mostly on Rek'Sai in the last game, not even using her early game power whatsoever, which is a little odd because Lyra has been very active in terms of ganking so far from what we've seen.
I don't think LeBlanc would be a great pick here. I mean, it is open for GBM to take, obviously, if you don't take it away, but then Jennair just continues to pick tanky champions, and then you have both carries with not a lot to do.
Yeah, and Mickey hasn't really delivered on LeBlanc in the same way, but this is a team composition that Anarchy can use to really snowball the early game. Obviously, the Kalista Thresh lane is very dangerous. Really powerful kill potential in that lane. So Jennair are probably just going to react. Honestly, if I know Jennair, they're probably going to play Urgot or Ezreal here.
Yep.
And just play really, really safely to avoid that kill pressure. And Rumble Lulu would not be a bad pickup right here. You have some mid-game power, and you've got the Lulu just to prevent any all-ins from Mickey.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. There we go, locked in. Lulu and Rumble. So the final two picks over to Anarchy, and we'll see what they have as far as their top and mid goes, or top and jungle goes, rather. Yeah, Rek'Sai Gnar.
Pretty standard. I don't know if I'm Anarchy, if I go ahead and take the Gnar right here. There's the Evelynn locked in for Lyra. This is going to be the third time he's actually played that champion so far. So they've been relying on it just to be surprising, and I think that's really a great play right here. Anarchy kind of all-inning on the laning phase. If they get fed out of laning phase, they'll be able to carry this game very effectively with LeBlanc and Kalista. And the ganks from Evelynn, just due to the surprise factor, will help that pretty significantly. But if they don't get that advantage, Evelynn just simply isn't as good of a late-game jungler as Sejuani in terms of the setup for team fights. Of course, that range CC really helping out with Sejuani and having some percent damage as well, and just a lot more crowd control effects. So, falling behind could be dangerous, and it's going to be difficult to gank Lulu in the mid lane, so they have to look to gank bottom or top. And if Sweet and Pilot play far back with that Alistar under the turret, I mean, Alistar Urgot, one of the hardest lanes of the game to dive. Really, really challenging.
Yeah, you're going to get knocked away. You're just going to do less damage against them.
You'll get just massively CC'd under the tower. You'll get pulled under the tower further.
Yep.
It's very dangerous.
Yep.
So it's pretty solid team composition. It's a great answer to Kalista, who does need to snowball off the laning phase most of the time to actually remain relevant late. And we are going to have, it's like somebody needs to fix something in the client, so we're going to go through champ select one more time, GBM. Maybe a champion swap error right there, but we'll get right back into it.
Yep, a couple of Jin players leaving the lobby, so we'll just have to remake that. And then we'll get ready for game number 2. And Jin, I mean, yeah, they see the Kalista, they see the LeBlanc, and they're like, all right, well, we're just going to go with a composition that's extremely hard to kill. And I don't really see any reason why this wouldn't work out for them unless they start kind of making some pretty serious mistakes.
And there are some areas of vulnerability early, especially Pilot and Sweet. If they do get Dove pretty 6, that could be some problems. But we could also just see them lane swap here and not even take that risk up until Urgot has that ultimate to help deal with any possible tower dives. Also in the top side, Trace has to be careful for getting ganked because he can get killed pretty easily by Gnar and Evelynn together. And with Urgot not being the most mobile champion, any pushes up the lane will have to be considered. And Chaser here going for Sejuani instead of Rek'Sai. I don't really like that pick in this composition because the Tremor Sense would be highly useful against Evelynn.
True.
And you would have much more of an early game kill pressure. So it's going to be a lot of farming for Jin early on if they have their way. And Anarchy looking to make the plays. They're going to have to take some risks.
Yeah, I suppose this Sejuani ult does let you get range for position reverse or things like that. We'll see if Jin can get the clean 2-0 or if Anarchy will bring it back and send us to game 3. The game will be loading fairly soon. They're still getting to the lobby now, but either way, the action will commence shortly. GBM, no Yasuo, but a second game on that Lulu. We played really well in game 1.
Yeah, and his Lulu's been strong all year, so no surprise to see him coming back to that. It's always something you can use as a utility pick to boost up your AD carry. Nice pick.
That's right. So Anarchy, another chance to prove their worth. And can they do it in the early game? Seems like a pretty solid strategy, but we'll see if they can pull it off. Doesn't look like the players are too worried about it either way, though. It's time to get in the game, guys, and see if this is the end of our first best of 3 or not. It's showtime. All right, here we go. That was a very weak cheer, Jin fans. The Anarchy had a bigger cheer. It did.
Jin fans just
like,
sounded half-hearted. Yeah. What's up with that, Jin fans? You got to cheer for Jin.
Yeah, no kidding. Lyra tosses in that ward. Looks like an early invade from Jin just to get some deep wards going down. They want to know where this Evelynn starts, I suppose.
Yeah, just checking right now to see what the lane swap situation might be as well. I suspect that they are going to want to get that lane swap just like they did in the last game. And so Pilot and Sweet going to wrap around through the tri-brush and right back out of the jungle as a unit. Oh. They know they're showing on that ward right there. They did see it dropped earlier.
Yeah.
So just playing a little bit more reserved. Gnar is going to show right by the blue buff, and that's where the pings are going to go down. See if the mind games are coming in. Ixu heading back into the fog of war currently.
Yeah, Jin was able to take 3 out of the 4 buffs at the beginning of the last game as well, too. So they've been handling Anarchy in the very early minutes pretty well.
Yeah, Gnar repeatedly showing on this ward, so Pilot and Sweet will head up to the top side as soon as they realize what's going on. Now Gnar walking into the jungle just to get the double jungle going on as Urgot is left to freeze the lane, and Alistar maybe checking out the jungle to see if any shenanigans are going on. He's actually checking Wolves right there to make sure that Gnar isn't starting on that camp. And Sweet, is he going to try and take these little golems or just harass? Looks like no early creeping. Sometimes you do see the supports try and take the little golems just to delay the leveling of the enemy jungler, which can be a very effective tactic.
Yeah. So Pilot has selected Giant Enemy Crab God, therefore they will win the game. That's just how it is. I don't make the rules.
just read them.
That's right. I just react to what I see in front of me. We ate some delicious king crab the other day, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I don't think Urgot would be a delicious crab, though. I would not want to try that. If I did, though, it'd definitely have to be boiled.
I mean, he's pretty much the same level of grossness as all crabs are, really.
Well, yeah. I mean, your argument is that they're giant ocean spiders.
Except they feed on carrion and they're scavengers. They're pretty disgusting animals,
Wow.
actually.
Mickey taking a lot of damage early on. They are, but they taste delicious.
They do taste delicious, but they are gross.
Yeah. You ever wonder what it was like to be like an early human and you have these like animals that you find and you're just like, I'm going to eat it. I'm just going to eat it and see what happens.
Maybe I'll die.
It's like it's a giant ocean spider. Wonder how it tastes.
Better put it in my mouth.
I better. It's really hard to get into, which means it must be delicious. See, I think that's what led to people eating crabs, that it was hard to get into. Anarchy taking a very early dragon. At 3 minutes.
Yeah, Trace actually TPing down there. He will see what's going on. Pops a ward into the Dragon Brush. People low, but there frankly aren't enough people there from Janair to actually deal any damage right now. A little bit of a delayed reaction from Chaser and Sweet in that situation. Sweet could have moved down just a little bit sooner and maybe disrupted that, but Anarchy will get out with that early Dragon, no problem. Still a big freeze going in at the top side. Trace shouldn't have an issue breaking this freeze under the turret, just trying to stay back, uses Flame Spitter and Harpoons from afar while Sweet zones out, makes sure that he's going to be okay with some of those deep wards.
Yeah, still farming just fine early on. Man, the people that ate like the first mushrooms, those are the ones that were really brave, because it's like, all right, we found this thing in the forest. It's either going to taste amazing, or it's going to kill you, or it's going to make you really high. It's going to be like one of those. We don't know which one it's going to be. We're just going to find out. Let's do it.
Good times.
That's right. Thanks to them.
Maybe all three if you're lucky.
That's right. I appreciate their efforts. Because I love mushrooms. Eating them. I can't dig my way out of that one, can I now? Oh, well.
Damage has been done.
I guess so. Mistakes were made. Oh, well. I'll just own it as best I can. Lyra lurking about in the lower jungle. Doesn't look like he's going to find a ton of opportunities, though. Every lane looking pretty ungankable. Even this bot lane. I mean, it's Rumble Alistar. We do see Snowflower roaming down, too. So maybe out of the three of them, they can make something happen. He goes through a pink ward, though. Trace getting slowed for the moment.
Yeah, nice
good pink ward.
Nice pink ward. Just lets you know if that Evelynn is coming down and trying to make a play while you're pushing up right there. Besides, they broke the freeze anyway. The wave looks like it will be reversing, so Rumble can have some more opportunities. Tons of pink wards down right now in favor of Janair.
There's a play. Snowflower, wow, taking a lot of damage here. Songyun trying to equalize to make a difference here. Snowflower getting low, though. We'll see if the Ignite finishes him off. Doesn't look like it will. Meanwhile, here comes Ixu teleporting down. First blood for Songyun as he flashes ahead for that one. Ixu not quite done yet putting on the damage, but he may take quite a bit for it. Oh, man. Lucky Lyra was there. Otherwise, that would have been a dead Gnar.
Yeah, and just chasing him off, very close to taking out Snowflower, but since Trace didn't have the TP, you have to respect that TP on the top side. But
yeah,
will this get Ixu behind in terms of CS? Because how much is he going to lose on this top lane turret? If we can take a look at the top side right now, Pilot is actually just pushing this lane into the tower. So some CS is going to be denied. We'll see if that first blood onto Songyun is worth it. Remember that Anarchy really needs to get a lead out of this laning phase to be relevant in the late game.
Yeah, getting that first blood onto Callista is pretty great. And I mean, Ixu did get an assist as well, so it's okay, but losing quite a bit of, he lost nearly that entire wave looking at the minimap.
Lyra.
Yeah.
Urgot's coming back down now, so they're trying to switch this into the 2v2.
LeBlanc is coming. They're going to try to cut off Trace, it looks like.
Now, dropped the pink ward.
Got back in, yep.
Very good timing. They are going to lose it immediately, but no one actually going to die as a result of that. And now Rumble will go topside just to catch this wave. We did see that he prepped it, froze it close to the turret so that Urgot could take this minion wave pretty easily on the bottom side. Pilot already with a nice CS advantage that's pretty much going to nullify that first blood gold almost.
Yeah. Teleport from Trace to get himself back to lane to catch this wave. And so he'll be able to maintain a little bit of a CS edge out of this probably. Getting pretty close to level 6 at this point too. Only about half a level to go. But overall, aside from that first blood, things pretty stable across the board. But first dragon, first blood for Anarchy. It's a good start. I mean, this is what they needed to do. The only question is, can they keep doing it?
Yeah, and Jin Air just keeps playing safe. They bought so many pink wards already this game. Another 2 pink wards coming in from Sweden Pilot just to keep themselves safe. They know that if they go late game on this one, Anarchy probably won't have the damage to take them down. Yeah, considering how tanky they're going to be, especially with that wild growth from Lulu as well. Now, Jin Air, they don't have a high damage composition either, but they're just going to win the war of attrition, basically.
Yeah, they can kind of grind it out in the mid and late game once they start to get a bit tankier. 1 minute until Dragon is back again. And we see if anyone wants to try to make a move for it. Now, all those pink wards bought by Jin Air as well, too, takes away from the items they could be getting.
Well, at least they're not totally feeding mid and bot lane so far. I think that's
a good trade-off,
the upside. Huh? You spend 100 gold, but you get that safety and make sure that Songyun isn't going to get an overwhelming advantage.
True.
With the help of Lyra. Good counter pink warding, though, as we see right now. A lot of wards in the river for Anarchy. And you're mentioning this before the broadcast, but that's something that Anarchy's been doing surprisingly well, is warding.
Yeah, they really
have. For an amateur team.
I mean, the basic mechanics, the basics are there for this team.
This is going to be a ridiculous wombo combo.
Yeah, we will see. Sweet just waiting. There's a play. Pilot comes in position, reverse around to Songyun immediately. There's a nice pulverize right into Chaser. And that was an easy kill there. Snowflower tries to get away. Looks like he'll make it out, but they wanted the kill on Kalista, and they got it.
And they're going to be able to transition this immediately into the Dragon as well, which is just a bonus for them. Should they go for it? Looks like we're just going to wait a little bit as they push this wave up. They've got time to do the Dragon for sure. LeBlanc just going to use this opportunity to recall.
They're going now.
Considering they can't contest the Dragon anyway.
And so, equalizing the Dragons, another kill. Jin Air with the gold lead now. And they took a little tiny hit early on, but they came right back and grabbed the lead back again. Nice big CS lead from Pilot as well in this mid lane now. So things very, very much back on track for Jin Air. And now you're behind. Now is Anarchy, the team that kind of needs to be ahead. Now you're behind. It's not a lot, but any amount behind with this composition is pretty worrisome, I would imagine.
Yeah, and especially now that the Dragons have been equalized, because Anarchy can't play really hard on that objective to try and end the game early or force those preferable mid-game fights. It gives Jin Air some more breathing room just to get the items they need to close out the match right here. And Ixu wasn't able to turn that into a 4v4 if Anarchy wanted to contest it, because his TP was just starting to come back up right now. Just came back up, in fact. So a little bit too late, and it's a nice timing from Jin Air. But Anarchy keeping things pretty even at the very least. We'll see how if they can, again, transition to this. Mickey hasn't had as big of an effect on his LeBlanc as he has on some of his other champions in his pool. His Zed and Ahri, in terms of roaming, proved a lot better than his LeBlanc play.
I mean, the other thing, too, is that the sample size is still just so low for this team that we really don't know a lot about these players yet. We're still kind of learning about all of their maximum capabilities, I suppose. Lyra came down the bottom for a lane gank, but the lane was already pushed up, so not quite sure what was going to happen there. Maybe you think he was worried about Chaser coming in to try something, perhaps?
Yeah, possibly. Chaser's ult's back up right now, so they could make an identical play to the one we saw earlier.
True.
But not going to happen. Chaser's just sitting in Fountain right now. What's he waiting for?
Did you just get the enchant? I didn't see what he bought. Oh, Mickey gets the chains on GBM. Backs away, though.
And now, again, 3 more pink wards from Jin Air. They are all over this. And usually we see teams try and deep ward with green wards to try and deal with it.
Oh, here we go. GBM flashing in. He used that wild growth. got the knockup, but Mickey manages to make it out.
Dodges
So-
the, oh, here we go, all in on the bottom side.
Nice play out of that. A knockup from the Fates call. There's the box going down sweet, knocking Snowflower out of there. Songyun still doing plenty of damage. Lyra not able to really contribute
Here
a lot to
comes
that. Here comes
Chaser.
Chaser. He could get a nice ult. He's got the flash as well. The flash used for Songyun already. Teleport by Trace. And there's a position reverser onto Lyra. Oh, gets canceled though. Oh, but that's a nice equalizer coming down from Trace. And that's an easy double kill then for Pilot.
And Mickey just not healthy enough to follow right here. GBM got the pressure in the mid lane. And it's a bit curious now. Anarchy tried to go for that gank, but it didn't look like they had accurate information about where Chaser was. Couldn't pull it off in time.
I guess
and
so.
because GBM had already chipped out Lyra on the bottom side, GBM was able to quickly move into the bottom side of the map and help out with that gank in the end before this LeBlanc could do much of anything at all. So 3 kills over to Pilot.
Yeah, Anarchy responds with 2 turrets though. So they're able to still stay close, gold-wise. It's not too bad.
And Pilot this season so far, and we saw his big KDA from the first match. It was only 2 games, but 31 KDA. And now he's really delivering here again tonight.
Yeah,
Remember, he has yet to die in either of the games this evening.
that's true.
And his positioning has been excellent. He's been showing a lot of new champions that I wouldn't have considered very Pilot-esque previously. And the team is playing well around him. They're giving him so many kills and giving him this big opportunity to carry that we just haven't seen from Pilot before.
Do you feel like across the board we're seeing more of a focus back to supporting the AD carry?
I think it just depends on the team.
Oh, Mickey tries to make a plan to sweet here. He takes a lantern out though. Doesn't want to fight that 1v3. But yeah, I feel like we're seeing a lot more compositions in general right now in Korea that are AD carry focused.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of oddball priority picks for AD carry, like this Callista that we constantly see banned out. But a lot of teams don't have an AD carry that can reliably carry, and we're seeing that with Samsung and Najin and Jinair in particular right now, 2 of these teams that have been running the Lulu mid and focusing more on the side lanes, at least tonight for Jinair, and allowing GBM to play a more supportive role, whereas in the past, we would see him often on champions like Ahri, like LeBlanc, like Xerath, and be more of a central carry himself. So Jinair trying out a new identity, really.
Which is good.
Yeah.
We needed to see some adaptation from them after how poorly the end of the spring season went, so it's good to see something new from Jinair.
Man. Songyun built Hurricane first. I really don't like this build.
Yeah.
And they're trying to bait Mickey in right now. Chaser is there.
Oh, Mickey goes in out of GBM. There's a Wild Growth knocking him up. Mickey back into the brush there. Chaser chases with the ult. They had the ward there.
Oh, he failed the flash.
So they saw him, yeah. GBM trying to chase Mickey back into the brush again. Over the wall. Oh, right into the flame spitter. Talk about out of the frying pan and into the literal fire.
Wow, look how well Jinair actually corralled that right there. Chaser
Seriously.
failed his flash, but they had everything else on lockdown. Songyun and Snowflower desperately trying to push right now. They get some damage done to the tower, and at the very least, the Hurricane is going to allow them to put pressure on the lane. But I just don't see a situation where Songyun is actually going to get in range of multiple targets in a team fight to make effective use of a Hurricane. Because if he walks up, he's going to get hit by Lulu or Sejuani CC or even a Urgot ult 100%. So he has to play more of a attack the front line role. And in that position, if you're not hopping through the fight, landing spears onto everybody, I just don't see the value in this item right now.
Right. Well, Dragon taken by Jinair pretty easily. Get that second one. They've got 2 out of the 3 outer turrets done. Same as Anarchy, I suppose. But the pressure's on now. Got to make something big happen pretty soon for Anarchy, it seems like.
Yeah, Mickey going for an Abyssal Scepter right now, too. Not sure that's really an optimal item for him, trying to build into some resists up against this Lulu and this Rumble, who are going to taper off in the late game. He needs to build for burst right now if he's trying to get back into this one and help get his team a lead, because he has to hit this power spike and then snowball off of that.
Yeah.
And Abyssal Scepter just not going to be the very best item for doing that. Meanwhile, GBM with a bit of a hodgepodge of a build right now, not even completing an item yet, but moving into
Zeko.
Zeko on Lulu very early.
Well, he's got a choice. He can go Athenes or he can go Luden Zeko right now, whatever he decides to finish first. Or, you know, with enough gold, he could probably just finish both at once. It's interesting.
Certainly could. Well, some wards going down right now for Anarchy, but the Dragon's already dead, so those bottom side wards aren't going to do them a lot of favors unless they want to dive this turret, which presents some pretty serious risk. But Songyun at least keeping the pressure on this lane. That is something that he can do much more effectively with the Hurricane, with the better wave clear. So as long as they're trying to prolong the laning phase, that's fine. But I feel that prolonging the laning phase isn't really what Anarchy wants to do. Here we go.
Yeah, they may try to go in on this chase right there, but Mickey's going to find him. First of all, nice pulverize from Sweet, taking a lot of damage in the process, though. Mickey, there's a nice equalizer, trapping a lot of Anarchy. Meanwhile, a good amount of damage comes in. That's a kill for Lyra, and Anarchy pushing Jin Air back a little bit. Death Sentence. Pilot stunned up against the wall. That's a kill now for Callista. Meanwhile, Trace going down, getting low. Gets taken out. That's a double kill for Lyra in this fight. Sweet barely making it out. So Anarchy, despite the setup for Jin Air, was able to come out on top that fight.
Yeah, and Anarchy was all there first, which really helped because Jin Air was sort of filtering into that fight one by one. And even though Jin Air set up a great Sejuani Rumble ult combo, it just wasn't enough damage. They didn't have the focus fire to take one person out right there. Look at that. Snowflower is going to miss his death sentence, but Pilot going to take an early flash right there. Sweet forced to burn his ultimate before he can really be effective. And that's a great ult combo. But at the same time, Mickey comes in, gets a good distortion on multiple people, and then Songyun is able to hop forward and get a lot of Ren stacks down on multiple members. Ixu shows up with a big Gnar ultimate as well, but had Jin Air all been there at the same time, GBM was a little bit delayed. Trace was a little delayed because he had to TP to the minion wave behind his team in lane.
Yeah. And just like that, Anarchy back in this game in a big way.
That's what they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a nice little 3,000 gold lead. Bloodthirster finish now for Songyun. And this team just continues to show that they're a team that needs to be taken seriously 100% of the time.
Yeah, they're very scrappy, and this is a healthy lead that they have right now.
Yeah.
If they can snowball it out, they're going to be in good position, but I think eventually their damage is going to taper off pretty significantly.
Anarchy strikes me as like a better version of what Samsung was last season.
Yeah.
You know? They share a lot of similar traits, but they're just kind of better about executing on everything. They've got that same aggression. They've got that same mechanical skill, but they're just able to put it together better.
Well, it's not really that surprising either, considering that Samsung didn't have players with the level of experience that Anarchy has. Yes, they're an amateur team, but they've lived in gaming houses before. They've performed in tournaments or in leagues before as well. Even though it has been more in a secondary capacity in China, they were still there. They were still performing. And so they do have a bit of an advantage just in terms of being more veteran players than a lot of the members of Samsung were last season.
Still wearing those just plain white dress shirts today as well, too. They need some sort of uniform, you know?
They need to be like punk rockers. We discussed this.
Yeah, exactly.
Time for everyone to get a mohawk. All of you, get a mohawk.
All the teams need, like, themes, you know, to their attire. Needs to be like Warriors or something like that, you know? You have the one team that's just all dressed like baseball players or something for some reason. It's you have, like, the hair rock guys.
The hair rock guys.
Hair rock, you know?
The hair metal?
Hair metal?
Yeah.
Hair metal, hair rock, whatever.
I love it. Just get some, tease their hair 80s style. Get some bleach out.
You could totally do it. Yeah. Some sick extensions.
Nobody misses the 80s.
No. I'm trying to picture Trace with hair extensions now, you know, and like have it teased out.
That'd be great. Jin Air, you're really missing
like
some
Van
opportunities.
Halen. Yeah. I bet Trace kicks back and rocks out to the Van Halen once in a while, you know. You don't look like you agree with me. Why? I
think Trace is far too serious for that. I just think he listens to
K-pop, probably. Yeah, probably just has it on constantly on his second monitor like most Korean pros do.
Yeah, he just dances around to bubble pop when nobody's watching.
Oh, geez. Don't mention the bubble pop. We've purged bubble pop from League of Legends long ago, Monte Cristo. You don't need to bring that back.
I'm bringing it back.
You don't need to bring that back. No.
I'm bringing the bubble pop back to the fans, Doa. I'm doing it for the fans.
The fans only like bubble pop because they just don't know what else is out there.
I mean, all K-pop is terrible.
All right. I pretty much agree with you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like some of it has like a little bit of a catchy tune here and there, but overall I'm not a big fan. You know what? You know the K-pop Act 21?
Yep.
I really didn't like one of their songs once, and I made like a mean tweet about it, and I found out that there's a rabid fan base for this group, and they call themselves the Blackjacks because it's 21, right? And I got like hundreds of really angry tweets from fans of this. It was pretty funny. I found out.
Did you find the?
You don't mess with the Blackjacks, apparently.
The Twitter.
Or they'll entertain you.
Pitchfork Mafia.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, when you insult K-pop, you're treading on some dangerous ground, Monte Cristo. Some of those fans are pretty intense.
They'll get so mad that they say mean things to you on Twitter, and then nothing else happens.
That's right. Look out, man.
Wow.
They will type at you so hard. Yep. The term is keyboard warrior here in Korea. That's what they call people like that. The Korean term translates to keyboard warriors.
Truly a noble calling, wouldn't you say, Doa?
That's right. You know? I don't know.
You know? I don't know.
What would be like the way to make your keyboard look like the sickest weapon?
I'm sure somebody's already done this, though. I'm
Probably.
sure somebody has actually made a keyboard out of a weapon.
You know, why don't we have movies where the hackers have like keyboards on like shoulder straps like guitars were, you know, and they like just jump through the air and like program things really fast while they're doing parkour or something? Why hasn't this happened yet? Seems like an opportunity.
It does seem like that's the obvious next step to go in terms of Hollywood's ridiculous obsession with hacking and how it operates in a fantasy reality.
Yep. Be careful. You don't want to become the hacked.
So I was watching Jurassic Park again the other day.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
One of my favorites.
I just laugh so hard at the hacking.
Yeah, that's right.
That.
It's a Unix system. I know this. Yeah. That's a worse designed operating system. If you haven't seen Jurassic Park, at the end of it, there's the
visual operating system where they have to go through the map of everything.
Instead of just clicking folders or clicking around, no, you have to like fly through a three-dimensional space where you've got like your different programs or like cubes and stuff. It's like, wow. It's almost as bad as the Windows 8 touch interface. Almost. That's right.
There's no flying yet in Windows. They haven't discovered the.
That's right. That's
unless
going
you're
to be the next
hacker.
one. Yeah.
It's the only time you can get through the special flight mode is if you're a hacker.
Yep. That's right. They can hack into it and get to flight mode, super secret flight mode. There, we filled that pause quite nicely, didn't we? I'm happy with how that one went. All right, back to the game. And a lead for Anarchy. Ooh. Say grab a red buff and move towards this top lane turret. Maybe a little bit of pressure onto this tier 2.
Yeah, wave clear not too great for Jin Air either, obviously with the Urgot, so
yeah,
they're a little bit vulnerable here. And Anarchy doing a good job of dialing up the pressure in this game and trying to take advantage of their lead. They've got some nice deep wards in that top side, unable to really do much at all to this tier 2.
Yeah, for now though. This is where Anarchy can start to kind of use that good warding to push this lead. We've seen them do it in the past. They do have a lot of wards down. Dragon up in 1:20. And if Anarchy can win a fight there and take the second dragon, then as Jin Air, do you start to get a bit worried?
Yeah, but if I'm Jin Air, I don't even try and fight this dragon unless I have a really good reason to or a pretty preferential setup for the dragon around the pit, because who cares if they get another dragon right now? It's not the end of the world. They're not going to be able to close this game out, and you could just sit there and try and take a top tower, maybe get some gold back, start trying to even up that advantage, and then fight later on once you've scaled into some serious tankiness.
That's right. Rumble scared away by this LeBlanc for now.
It's dodging the chains right there. Mickey not really able to follow up considering he had already used his ultimate for their distortion, and there's not really a lot of danger for Trace at the moment. And on you. He's going to release some Sentinels. Setup already happening. Lots of wards down for Anarchy. Total vision control for them at the moment.
Yeah, they really want this second dragon, and like you mentioned, I don't think it's worth it for Genera to try to contest this. It's not the biggest deal if they get it.
Yeah, Nar just going to go ahead and check the Baron, make sure they're not trading a Baron for a dragon or anything. And
right.
As I thought, Genera said screw it. We'll just go for the top lane tower instead. And I think that's the best possible strategic call at this point in time. There's no real reason to go all in on that objective with their team composition. So that's a good read, and generally Genera can clear out a little bit of vision right there.
Yeah, they should be able to get this top lane turret finally as well too. But Anarchy's going to push mid though.
Yeah, they don't have any wave clear though there, so this could be a mistake.
Yeah,
if they trade a tier 2, this is all of a sudden not worth it. They sent a lot of people at the top, and it was a late recall, so actually free tower from Anarchy, so that actually worked out really well for Anarchy.
Yeah, without the teleport onto Trace, there's nothing that Genera can really do about it.
And
get
as
that
for
tier 1 at least.
Who is going to split push that? Having Trace up there, sure, he's got the teleport, and that's great. We're split pushing, obviously, but they kind of need him because his ult is actually a pretty crucial component of wave clear with their composition. They only have Glitter Lance and Equalizer to clear waves.
Yeah. So Genera, all they really need to do is just sort of sit back and wait, huh? I mean, they should scale well, shouldn't they?
Yeah, that's it. They're going to get super tanky to the point where this LeBlanc isn't going to have so much of a radical effect on the game anymore, particularly with Mickey's kind of wacky build this game.
Yeah.
Going for the fast Abyssal Scepter.
Oh, almost got that Grump.
So close.
Didn't. Chaser got the Grump.
Yeah, so, and Trace too, he's going to be able to dodge a lot of LeBlanc damage if and when he actually picks up a Zhonya's Hourglass here. So, Anarchy really has to find a way to continue to make picks. Otherwise, this Kalista is going to get locked down because, remember, the key point for Urgot in these team fights is every time he levels up his ult because it substantially increases the range on that ability. So, once he hits the later levels in this game, he's going to be able to grab Songyun from pretty far away and put him right into a team fight where he will be collapsed on and killed nearly immediately, which is why he's got that early QSS.
The thing we haven't mentioned too yet is that this is, patch 5.9, and so that means Kalista doesn't get any bonus hopping distance on her backwards hops too, so makes it even a little bit harder to get away if you get stuck in that position. So Songyun's positioning in team fights is going to need to be really good.
Yeah, I think that was a nice change they made, although
very reasonable.
Hurricane did get a buff recently to get a little bit more damage on it as well, so that empowered Kalista, who's the primary champion who uses Hurricane, obviously.
Yeah.
Try and take away the blue buff, not quite going to work right there. They'd love to give it over to GBM because they really need him with that wave clear ability. He's going to grab it. Sweet taking a lot of damage, though. He is going to be able to run out with the Whimsy.
Ixu not finding an opportunity to use that Gnar ultimate to bring anyone back in, so it looks like Genera will get that blue buff onto GBM and get out. But what's the response now? Looks like the response is to move over and secure that red buff as well, too. So, Genera playing smart, just saying, all right, well, the objectives that we can control right now are our buffs. So let's just hold on to those. Let's just kind of keep things safe and see where things go.
Yeah, get some defensive wards. Make sure that you're not going to get picked off, that you have some idea about where these carries are moving on the map, and play conservatively until you get a hell of a lot more tankiness. Trace going for the same build he did last time, Void Staff second, but he's going to need that. He's going to need that Zhonya's Hourglass for the tankiness that it provides, and the fact that he can zone out by flame spittering and then Zonyaing to make sure that this Kalista can't really engage these team fights particularly effectively.
Well, Anarchy trying to bait Baron a little bit now. 'Cause they don't want Jin Air to have an easy time waiting for the late game. They want to fight.
Yeah, they do, but they have to get more of a lead than they've got right now, and they're trying to make it happen through baiting this Baron. But and the Baron, this is a good bait because obviously Kalista has that insane Baron control for an AD carry, so there is a real threat of them doing Baron at this point in the game.
Well, I think Anarchy knows that they have a window that they can kind of win this game in right now, and so they either have to take Baron or force a fight there to kind of keep that window open.
It's not really working, though. Sangyu started autoing Baron, but then immediately backed off. They have to be decisive right now.
Yeah, they have been so decisive, too, in a lot of their games. So it's a bit surprising to see them waffling a little bit. Yeah, just going back to Baron pit, then leaving again.
Well, there's a green ward from Jin Air in the back of the pit that's been there for quite a long time that can't be seen by the pink ward they currently have.
Might have been missed by sweeping lens or something. Jin Air sees this Baron happening, and it's not actually dying all that quickly. So yeah, Anarchy's going to need to back off.
Well, Baron doesn't go down quickly with Kalista for the first part of Baron. It's that big multi-thousand damage spike via Rend at the end that causes it to go down in a heartbeat. So just finishes off quite quickly, and there is Mickey throwing out a chain. Not really going to do all that much to Sweet right now. Aegis has been completed for Chaser. That's a pretty big pickup against the burst coming in from LeBlanc to help out the rest of the team.
Oh, Mickey. I mean, everyone's so tanky.
Yeah, who's
on Jin Air?
Who is the only person that Mickey's going to be able to burst on LeBlanc in the late game is Rumble, and that's if Rumble just doesn't get his Zonias in this game. But other than that, everyone else is perfectly capable of surviving a LeBlanc combo.
Yeah, we've seen some of these. Well, I feel like we've seen most of the LeBlanc picks these days.
Oh,
never mind. All right, well, forget everything we just
say.
He didn't get to use his ult.
He didn't get to do anything.
No. Wow, we're going to have to see a replay of that. Meanwhile, Dragon taken, that's the third one now for Anarchy. So things still going okay, but it seems like these LeBlanc picks, like you said, are kind of running into a bit of a brick wall when it comes to tanky compositions. Maybe Mickey will prove us wrong this time, but in general, it hasn't worked out for a lot of teams.
I'm really surprised that Mickey was able to pull that off, especially without using Ignite. That's the big one. They're going to start the Baron here before they clear out the wards, so this is going to be pretty telegraphed.
More wards coming in from Jin Air. Anarchy knows they're going for it, though. Pilot throwing some poison in there. Anarchy has to back away. Oh, the hook misses. And we'll see if Jin Air wants to try something. They've got the ult upon to Chaser, but again, no Sweet. He's trying to join the fight right now, so it would be a 4v5. Pilot coming in, trying to get that position reverser, gets grabbed, gets with the box. There's a wild growth to keep him alive. Chaser comes in, doesn't use that ult yet. He's being very patient with it. Sweet joining the fight now. Chaser with the kill, and here we go. A beautiful equalizer comes in for Trace. Gnar ultimate does a lot of work on Jin Air, though, but it's not enough. And Anarchy pushed away. Ixu flashing over the wall. Gonna die anyway after those knockups. Another kill for Chaser. Mickey waiting for an opportunity. Did he find one? Nope.
Just not enough damage. Mickey has no mana there either. They took a risk on that Baron. Tried to go all in. It didn't bait and took some damage before they turned.
Wow, GBM.
And then, of course, Trace. His equalizers have been so good.
Yeah.
Not only tonight, but ever since this season began, his 2 games last week as well. Picking up the Rumble in one of those, really doing a lot of work on it. Now Jin Air is going to take that Baron, going to even up in terms of gold and have all that pressure. Let's take a look at this one again. I mean, Pilot gets hooked right there, so they think it's a good opportunity to go in, but Wild Growth and Flash gets him out of that circumstance pretty quickly. And look at that 4-man ultimate, and then another ultimate right there. And if you notice, Songyun had to blow his QSS on the Sejuani ultimate, so then Pilot just grabbed him immediately, swapped him back in, and he was dead.
Yeah, I mean, really the story of that fight, I feel like, was the patience of Chaser to wait for the perfect time for that ultimate.
Well,
because
also Pilot going in, Pilot going in like that, baiting them into the fight, and then 4-man Sejuani ultimate forces that QSS. Pilot just waiting as long as possible to use the position reverser, then recognizes that it's the prime time to use that ability after Trace lands that big equalizer too. So a beautifully played team fight by Jin Air.
Yeah. Well, Songyun's got his last Whisper, so doing a little bit more damage now. Getting some armor penetration, which is helpful against Jin Air, of course, but Jin Air, I think the window may have closed at this point, especially with that Baron buff.
That Baron buff is really game-changing, and Anarchy I think they misplayed that a little bit. You have to look for the pick right there. You can't commit that hard to Baron under those circumstances. You want to get that burst damage off and force the fight. And Jin Air's patience with their ultimates was really key. You just see Jin Air is a lot better at team fighting, and that's why some of these AoE abilities are so dangerous in the late game.
You know, it does look like Jin Air is going to be able to take this game now. Pilot gets grabbed with the death sentence, but that said, you know, Anarchy continues to look pretty good. Not good enough, but still pretty decent. Jin Air pushed away by that threat of the teleport coming in for Ixu, but yeah. I think Anarchy still has something special started maybe here.
Well, if they can keep scrapping, they did have some very nice team fighting in the early game. I like what we saw from them in lane.
Yeah, this game may be over, but it's a long season. Oh, Mickey, gets knocked up, tries to get some damage on Sweet. Another beautiful equalizer from Trace comes in. Mickey just barely getting away. Ixu has to jump over the wall there. Songyu untouched but alone. And Jin Air, they catch Ixu with the ultimate from Chaser. There's a couple knockups. And another kill for GBM.
Sweet was so good to catch LeBlanc right there.
Yeah, what a reaction.
With the pull combo, and then the immediate follow-up from Trace, too, with the equalizer to keep pushing forward. Jin Air has gotten miles better in terms of engaging, and that was one of the issues that I saw with the Jin Air late last season, was when Che was playing. Che and Chaser again.
Oh, they got him again. Wow. The reaction time is just amazing from Sweet. Pilot gets grabbed, doesn't really matter, he's pretty tanky. There's a wild growth just in case. Songyun backing away, not able to do a whole lot of damage. Lyra in the middle of everything. Double kill already for Pilot though, and Lyra gets slow, gets taken out, and Snowflower just bringing his death ever closer. Oh, manages to get back to the fountain. Hi, Ixu. Pilot taking a lot of damage from the turret here, as well as Ixu. Sweet just pushing him away here. May have to give his life for that. Uses the flash, but Jin Air ready to end it, as 3 members are out of commission for Anarchy right now. So Anarchy putting up a little bit better showing in game 2, but it looks like Jin Air is going to be able to end this one. Maybe not right now, but in the near future.
No, they don't want to be this low when that LeBlanc comes back up with a death cap and can actually take out someone when they have so few abilities available to them. So smart of them just to back out. There's another dragon in 45 seconds. Go ahead, take that. Then you can just make the final push. I love the patience we're seeing Jin Air play with. They understand when their timings are. They're not being overly hasty about contesting objectives, because that's been one of my complaints, Stoa, is that a lot of teams I feel are overvaluing the stacks 2 and 3 on Dragon.
Pilot in a lot of trouble. Position reversal used. Wild growth onto Chaser helps a lot. A lot of damage still. Pilot is gigantic now, though. Mickey getting very, very low. Ixu as well turns around for the stun. Nobody there to land it on. And so Jin Air saves their AD carry at the last moment there.
And Anarchy may have actually forced a fight out of this one.
Maybe. Sweet coming in now. There's another nice equalizer. Great pulverized Ixu with a good ult. Pushes people back, but does he create enough space for his team to get away? They lose Songyun, they lose Snowflower, they're going to lose this dragon as well. And Jin Air continuing to just get that lead. Lyra not able to come in and try for that steal. And Jin Air winning another fight.
Mickey again looking for something, but the recall's going to come in before he's actually able to get the damage down this time. And Pilot's just been amazing in the last couple of matches. His positioning has been excellent. First time he's died tonight.
Well, he's done a great job of being bait in the second game. You know, he's done a great job of making it look like he's gotten himself out of position, but then just being barely in range to be saved by his team every time.
Yeah.
It's an intricate dance, but Jin Air is dancing it well.
GBM going for Lichbane now.
Yeah.
So just trying to add more punch to his build. No Void Staff yet, despite fairly good amount of magic resist on the enemy team.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think the Void Staff would have been a little bit better here?
Yeah, probably.
Well, looks like it's not going to matter. They take out Lyra without any issues at all.
It's better for sieging, though, that Lichbane, because he'll be able to chunk the towers and end the game really quickly. So I understand why he's doing it.
Makes sense. Well, they're not going to spot that ward, but it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, they actually do. Never mind. Position reverse onto Mickey. They catch him. Can't get away. Wow. Pilot has just been so on point with these ults here. Ixu, nothing he can do. He's tanky, but it doesn't matter. They grab sweep, but no one around to do damage to him. Snowflower drops that box out, and Equalizer just slowing people, allowing everyone to catch up, take down Songyun. Ixu ults people away, but he is nearly the last man standing here as Snowflower's just come back up again. But it's not going to stop Jin Air from taking down this final Nexus turret and then taking out the Nexus. Sweet just pushing Ixu away as Jin Air gets ready to end the game. I guess Lyra is back as well, too, doing some damage on the Sweet and Chaser, but that is a giant rumble. That is a very dead couple members of Anarchy, and that is it, a 2-0 for Jin Air. So I think a better performance for Jin Air than we saw against IM.
Well, game 1 was about the same as what we saw in this series. It was only in game 2 when they had the Yasuo pick that things got a little wacky. And
right,
even then, Jin Air played out the early game well. But
yeah, nothing that messy today, though.
No, very, very convincing play from Jin Air.
Yeah.
Really good performance as Sweet getting a little knock from his coach right there. Should have a smile after that game. Played quite well. And great showing from Jin Air. Now, they have played against Anarchy and Samsung, so or IM rather. So it's not, we haven't seen enough out of them yet. I'm really excited to see them play against KT on Saturday because that's going to be their first really big match of the season.
Yeah, definitely will. But either way, a win is a win, and it feels good for the Jin Air Green Wings, starting off the season with a couple 2-0s against Incredible Miracle, and now Team Anarchy.
Well, that's a big thing for Jin Air because they started off